Hello, I'm Kevin Steele. I wanted to share with you a new tool that I found for providing feedback to students. It's called Kaizena, and what it does is it provides voice feedback and little mini lessons if you've put those in there too. So what I want to do today is I want to kind of walk through the process from setting up your account and then setting up your boxes for the students, and then what the student will do, and then come back to what you do after the student repeats. So we'll kind of switch roles. We'll start as yourself, switch to the student, switch back to yourself for the providing of feedback, and then switch back to the student for the viewing, so that you can see how the workflow works throughout the process. So that's the purpose of today's training video. When you go to Kaizena, that's Kaizena.com, you will notice that you can log in with your Google account if you have one. If not, you can sign up without one. I'm going to go ahead and sign in with my Google account since I have one, and choose it from the list since I have a few. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my university account here, and it will ask me for kind of a waiver of it wants access to my Google accounts. There will usually be more in the list the first time through than what you're seeing on my screen today, because I've already been in once today. So I'm going to go ahead and click accept. And then what I can do in here, you'll see I have a few options. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up and click on my profile picture up here. Or you'll have a little logo if you don't have a picture. But I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and I'm going to set up my account. So I'm going to hit edit your profile, and then I'm going to fill in this information. So my name, how I want it to appear to my students. I also will place in there I can change my short URL, so I'll be kaizena.com/ksteele. This is important for the students because the students will actually be visiting that link to turn in their work. You can write a short bio of yourself, select whether you're a student, teacher, or other, and then find your school so that students know that they've got the right school in any subject areas. So I'm already done with mine, and I'm going to go ahead and hit set up my boxes. I have one set up already over here, IT 602 Final Papers. They give me the two others, but I can always create a new box. Boxes in Kaizena are nothing more than drop boxes where students can turn in work. So when I set one up, let me go ahead and I'll just go ahead and archive this one. And I'll create a new box. So I'll type in my course name usually, and then what the assignment is. So I'll use the same name of the one I just deleted. But IT 602 Final Papers. And that's it. I'm done with the setup now on this part. So what I would do now is tell my students to visit kaizena.com/ksteele, or I'd post that in the learning management system. I do have my students turn into both places. So they turn into the learning management system where I can provide the grades and the rubric. But I also have them turn it in here so that I can provide feedback and mark up the papers, if you will, kind of the old-fashioned markup. And a lot of the problems with marking up is it's cumbersome in other softwares. Kaizena has really made this simple. If you can click a few buttons and talk, you can create feedback for the students. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and log out, because I'm going to become the student in this case. So remember, we tell the students to go to kaizena.com/ksteele. I have it right there. And then it will say, what do you want to do? I want to ask. They click on the blue button, ask Kevin Steele for feedback. In fact, now that I look at that, I put my professional name, and I don't like the way that looks on the button, so I can go back and edit that later. And then I select it'll ask me to sign in. If students have Google accounts, they can log in with those. If they do not, they can just log in with their regular email. I do happen to have a separate account, which will log me in a little bit differently here. So now I'm logged in as my other self. It didn't help that I use the same profile picture. But it will say ask for feedback, and it will say, okay, well, we're looking in your Google Drive, so students can link their Google Drives. And I'm going to say I'm going to upload just something, the social studies assignment on the term list. And I'm going to hit select. Or you know what, let's select something else. It's been a while since I've been in I'll select the term list. It's been a while since I've been in here. And it will say choose a box. Well, I know it's not exactly IT 602's Final Papers, but I would select the box that I want them to go to, and I ask for feedback. Alright, Now it says, welcome to Kaizena, what are you? I'm a student in this case. And the document was successfully submitted. Now they won't see that little pop-up each time. So I go ahead and hit close. And the document is loading in. There it is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and close out of Kaizena again. And I'm just going to go ahead and log in as the teacher. So now I'm switching back as the teacher. Oh, I'll have to hit log out here. I'm going to sign in with my Google account. Usually if you're using the same computer, it remembers who you are, so this sign in, sign out goes away. So I log in. And I notice that my IT 602 final papers has one submission to it. I click in there, and I can see all of the people who have submitted to the box. So now I just click on their names. I highlight the text I want to have a comment on, and instead of having to type these cumbersome texts, all I do is I hit the microphone and I hit record. Now I record my feedback, so I might say, what about abolitionists? How does that fit within the term of abolish? I click on stop, it processes, and I'm ready to go. So now I get down to anarchy, and I might say, it might be a written paper, I might say, you need a source for this, or how are you finding this statistic? I can also type feedback too. So, I could just put source needed and hit the comment. Or, one of my favorites here, my students regularly do annotated bibliographies in my class, and the problem is they don't exactly know what the annotation part of the bibliography is. So, therefore, I might say, I can actually click on that link button, and if I have to preset these up, and we'll go over that a little bit later. I preset up regular occurrences. So I say annotated bibliography. Now this is something I've already put in there. I hit attach, and what that is it's a link out to another video tutorial like this about how to create an annotated bibliography. So when they come in here, or if it's comma splices, it could be a video about comma splices. So when you have that regular occurrence of passive voice or grammar rules, you could actually link to your videos or someone else's videos about how to fix those areas. Once I'm done, I'll simply hit close, and then it will say, what do you want to do? Well, I want to post the link in the in the Google Doc, and it puts it under the comments button. So when you're the student, they have to kind of look for that one. Or I can hit send email, and it will send an email to the student, because remember, they've logged in, so you don't have to remember any of that. So what I've basically done here is I put it in the comments, in addition to send him an email saying, hey, I'm done providing feedback. Now I go back to the dashboard with the final papers using those back buttons, and I go on to the next student. Pretty easy. And the best part is I've done this all without paper. So I've saved a few trees in the process, in addition to toner costs and all those things that we bark about in IT all the time. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the student view. I did not grade this paper. Remember, I said I use two different sources. So I use a learning management system where I actually grade the paper, but this is where I effectively grade the paper for the student, but I actually record the grades through the rubric in a different system. So I just pull up two tabs, and then I read the paper, put my comments in, and then I go back and fill out my rubric on the other tab in my learning management system, and I'm done. So it's really not an extra step, and I didn't have to put pen to paper on this one. So now here's what the student sees. But you'll notice new feedback from Kevin Steele. So the student then I can go to view feedback, and it logs them right in. So they say, yep, this is me, that's my account. And now remember, I'm the student now, and I'm looking at this. I can click on this, and when I click on these highlights, now I record my feedback, so I might say, what about abolition? Okay, so you get the idea. But now the student can actually listen to your voice and listen to your lesson, and you didn't have to type anything. So you can elaborate a little bit more than when we're trying to type things in. Remember, this was the comment that I placed in. Here it is over on the side, source needed. So the student just goes through and clicks on these. Annotated bibliography. When I click on that,
hello. In preparation for the...
it will take me out to my annotated bibliography lesson for the students. So now I could actually provide real-time feedback, and I can remind them of things we did before. Perfect for those of us who are flipping the classroom. The other thing I want to show you with this, and I will just go ahead and I'm going to go to my drive. This student received an email. If the student email option is not working, it goes into their Google Drive here. That was in social studies, and it was the term list. Here it is. Term list. So now in term list, the comments section is lit up, and here it is. So if students aren't getting the emails, all they have to do is go to this and the comments. Now I know what happens, students don't look for that. So if we train the students just to go directly there, and then when they click on that, it takes them right back to where we were. One more thing before I let you go for today is how do I do that annotated bibliography? How did I put that video lesson in there? So now I'm going to go back to Kaizena, and I'm going to be the instructor again. Let me log out here because I was in as student. Again, you won't have to do this because I'm just switching back and forth. There is this link to resources up here. So what you're doing when you're creating those kind of canned responses or those canned lessons is you're going to resources, and then you're hitting add resource. So this one might be on comma splices, and I can as long as it's out on the internet, I can link to it. So I can put a Word document up and link it to my Google Drive, and put it in my Google Drive and link it. I can link to a YouTube video, whatever the case is. So let's say, for instance, I'm just going to take the first one that appears, only because I'm cheating for you and saving you time. Alright, so let's just say this is a good one. Oh my gosh, it's 25 minutes long. My students will hate me, but I'm just showing you the linking. We go back to Kaizena's resources. We paste that URL in, we hit green, and we're ready to go. Now when I want to give feedback, I just type the name of my resource that I'm linking to, so I hit that link button, and I hit, so let me go ahead and show you how that works again. I can come back here and I hit link, and I might say comma, and then I attach. I hope you found it beneficial today. If you have any comments or questions, please put them in the comment section down below the video here on YouTube, and I'll respond to you through those. Thank you.